Most sales advice tells you to fix your weaknesses. But what if the real secret to success isn't in fixing what's broken, but in doubling down on what already works? Today, I want to show you how focusing on your strengths can completely transform your sales career and your life. With nearly 25 years of experience in sales and currently nearly a decade as the highest volume producing rep at my $150 plus million office, I've learned what it takes to sell at the highest level. But my journey wasn't one of natural talent or smooth beginnings. It started with doubt, struggle, and a lesson I'll never forget. My name is Adnan, and I'm here to share what works. Let's go back to where it all began. I immigrated to the United States when I was 16 years old. I left behind my education, my friends, and the only life I knew. Suddenly, I was in a new country, and I had no idea what was ahead of me. My first job was in sales. Now, imagine this. I could barely speak English. My thick accent made every sentence feel like a mountain to climb. And to make things worse, I stuttered heavily. Talking to strangers was terrifying. My words would get stuck in my throat. My jaw would tense up, and I could feel my face muscles tighten with every sentence. Around me, my coworkers were classic natural salespeople. They were outgoing, confident, and charismatic. Everything I thought I wasn't. They worked the room like movie characters, making jokes, lighting up conversations. I admired them, but deep down, I felt like I could never be one of them. I was the quiet kid who dreaded speaking up. During the training sessions, I hoped my managers would notice me. Every word I spoke felt like a risk, a chance to fail, to embarrass myself. But even with all that self-doubt, I started selling. And to my surprise, I succeeded. Within a few years, I was one of the top performers at my first sales job. But here's the thing. Success on the outside didn't change how I felt on the inside. I still saw myself as a stuttering kid who wasn't good enough. My mind kept telling me that I needed to be better, and my weaknesses were holding me back. And those thoughts followed me for years. Fast forward many years, and I joined one of the largest home improvement companies in the country as a sales consultant. I started strong, hitting my milestones quickly, but the same insecurities lingered. You're not good at speaking. You don't build rapport like others. You're too direct in your approach. People don't like you. I was constantly fighting to be something I wasn't. And then one morning in Florida, everything changed. It was my first year with the company. I had earned a spot on the mid-year top performer trip. That morning, I woke up early and walked down the beach to watch the sunrise. The sand was cool beneath my feet as I sank into it, waiting for the sun to come up. I was alone, listening to the waves of the ocean, deep in my thoughts. But then I hear a person walking up. I turned to see our vice president of sales. Now, this is not a local vice president of sales. This is a guy that is the vice president of sales for the entire nation. So I was extremely lucky not only to meet him, but to be able to have a one-on-one conversation with him that early on in my start with the company. So he's walking up towards me. He nodded and he sat down next to me. As the sun began to rise on this beautiful, crisp morning, I opened up to him about my struggles. I told him how I felt like I was constantly chasing perfection, obsessing over my weaknesses, and always falling short. He listened carefully, and then he said something that would change my life. He said, "Most people obsess over their weaknesses, but very few focus on their strengths." He shared how during his own career, he leaned into what made him successful instead of trying to be someone he wasn't. He told me that being a straight to business guy wasn't a flaw. See, I always had this thing that when you see all these salespeople that I would do ride-alongs with, and I'll watch how they would present to the customer, how they would approach the customer. They all had this great way about themselves that they would just walk in the room and be like, build such great connection with the people. And that was never really me. I was the guy that would just rely heavily just being straight to business. Why am I here? What are we looking to do? I always used to think that I wish I could be like one of those people that are just so good at meeting new people. And he told me that being a straight to business guy wasn't a flaw. It was a strength. That moment was a true revelation for me. I stopped fighting who I was. I stopped seeing my stutter as a weakness. When you stutter, what happens is people lean in, or they see you struggle, or they see that you're having a hard time saying certain words, or they'll maybe complete the sentences for you. And that thing really used to bother me in the past. But at this point, after all these years, I've learned that I'm not seeing that stutter as a weakness as I always did. Instead, I reframed it. When people leaned in closer or they finished my sentences for me, I didn't let that bother me. Instead, I viewed it as engagement. They were hanging on to each and every word. I embraced my direct approach to sale instead of forcing small talk that didn't feel authentic. I focused on being professional, efficient, and trustworthy. My authenticity is what truly became my superpower. So here's the truth. Working on your weaknesses can help you improve, but doubling down on your strengths is what makes you exceptional. You don't need to be perfect to succeed. You need to be you. So stop obsessing over your shortcomings. Accept yourself for who you are and wherever you are in your journey. And start leaning into the qualities that make you unique, the qualities that set you apart. I hope my story helps you see your potential in a new light. Remember that success isn't about being like everyone else. It's about being the best version of yourself. I wish you all continued success, happiness, and confidence, and encourage you to embrace your strengths and thrive in your career and your life. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you.